Wisconsin's Afternoon News on Newsradio 620 WTMJ. About 10 minutes, we're out of here for Brewers baseball. We want to bring you up to speed right now on a big story that's been taking place for almost a week now in northern Illinois. Fox Lake, to be specific, a police officer gunned down there as he chased 3 suspects. All we know is what we heard from the officer, which is that he was chasing 2 suspicious people that were white, one that was African-American. He ends up killed. Funeral this weekend. New developments today. Today's TMJ4's Michele Fiore is in Fox Lake, Illinois. Hi, Michele.
Hi, John.
Hey, let's start with the videotape. So we spent a lot of last week talking about how there was videotape, maybe multiple videotapes, and how that could be a turning point in this case. And now it ends up not so much. What do we know about the videotape?
Yeah, we sure did talk a lot about these videotapes last week. And, they got them from businesses, from homes, and from DOT down here. And they were really hopeful that they could get a better description on these guys. I mean, all we know at this point, like you said, is that 2 are white, 1 is African-American. And so they're really just looking for some answers. And these videotapes, at least some of them, contained 3 people matching just that vague description. Now, the FBI got a hold of the videotapes. They put them in chronological order. And when they did that, police were actually able to identify the 3 on the tape, went out, talked to these individuals. These 3 individuals have solid, they have solid evidence of where they were at. They have great alibis. And so they've been ruled out as suspects.
That's the tough news, is that the videotape apparently won't be helpful. But then we also learned today that maybe there was DNA evidence recovered that could be helpful. What do we know about that?
So that is a promising fact from the press conference this afternoon. Police say that in the many times that they've returned to the crime scene, that they have recovered DNA evidence that was sent out, and over the weekend it came back from the lab, and it confirms the DNA evidence is not that of Lieutenant Gliniewicz. So now they're left to wonder, whose is this DNA evidence? And so they've sent it off to this national DNA database, and they're waiting for it. And at this point, no matches have come back on it. So now they're doing DNA swabs from, the first responders who are out at the crime scene, and they do not suspect that the DNA is going to be one of theirs, but they're just kind of being thorough in the investigation. So really, whoever's DNA evidence they have, it leads them to wonder if that could be one of the killers.
Boy, the concern, Michele, I'm sure many have in that area. When you think of the guys who broke out of jail in upstate New York, remember those? There was this idea, they had an idea where they were, at least where they thought they were the whole time. In this case, who knows?
Yeah, and the thing about that was those guys were identifiable. Mm-hmm. They had a lot to go on with that. These guys, gosh, they could just be anybody walking amongst us. The description of just 2 white males and 1 African-American male could be absolutely anybody. So they really need something like videotape evidence, somebody who saw something to help them figure out who these guys could be.
Today's TMJ4's Michele Fiore is with us. I have family down in that area, and my nephew's Little League games were canceled a few days ago. Are things beginning to get back to normal? Are people still nervous? What about the people that live and work in this area?
Oh, gosh, absolutely. Everywhere you go in Fox Lake, John, is a sign that Lieutenant Gliniewicz is missing. There are blue ribbons tied on trees, on fences. His picture appears on billboards and small signs outside people's homes. It is evident this man was so well loved in the community. And when we were talking to people, and they tell us that they're not going to be the same without him. He was such a mentor to the children, to the young men and women in this neighborhood who, wanted to possibly someday aspire to be a police officer. He touched so many people down here. I think they're also very nervous knowing that the killer hasn't been located yet. So kind of just keeping an eye over their shoulder and going about their daily business as usual, but definitely with an eye to what's happening.
All right, so what do you guys have coming up tonight on this story?
So coming up tonight at 6, we talk about the lieutenant's gun, which was recovered at the scene, and what police are saying about it today. We also are talking about that videotaped evidence and the DNA evidence, and the fact that, they have at this point gone over 185 leads thoroughly. The people that they're talking to, they've had people in there, as persons of interest, and nothing so far is turning out for him. So, where do they go from here? There's been a little bit of scandal within the department itself. About a week before the lieutenant's death, there has been this internal investigation going on. And so reporters today asking questions about whether this internal investigation could have something to do with the lieutenant's death.
Today's TMJ4 is Michele Fiore. You can catch her stuff coming up tonight. It's on today's TMJ4. Michele, thank you for being with us.
Absolutely, John. Anytime.